Now we head to Flagstaff, which has the highest cost of living in Arizona. To address that, the city raised its minimum wage at a rate faster than the rest of Arizona. Vanessa Barchfield reports on how the move divided the mountain town.
It's a pretty standard day for business at Proper, a craft butcher and sandwich shop on Flagstaff's south side. Meat's being sliced, bread's on the grill, and customers stream in. The employees here stay busy, and for their work, they earn tips plus $11 an hour. That's Flagstaff's minimum wage. What they'll earn in the next few years, though, is not so clear. Minimum wage has been a contentious issue in Flagstaff for a while now. It all started in 2016 when voters were asked to decide on Proposition 414. The measure would raise Flagstaff's minimum wage to $15 an hour by the year 2022. Joe Bader worked on the campaign. He says there was a lot of momentum around the country at the time to hike wages.
Looking at the data in Flagstaff, the poverty data, there's a very high level of poverty and low-wage jobs here, and so we thought that this is an issue whose time has come.
And Flagstaff voters agreed that the city needed a raise. Proposition 414 passed with almost 54% of the vote. The Greater Flagstaff Chamber of Commerce opposed the measure. CEO Julie Pastrick says the reaction among the business community was shock.
Our phones started ringing off the hook almost immediately by businesses saying, you have to help us, please help us. A, we don't understand. Can we actually live under the law of two wages? B, how is this going to affect us? When does it go into place? And C, I can't afford this. I'm going to have to lay off workers. I'm going to have to raise prices. What does this mean for me?
The overall social benefit to this community of raising the minimum wage, which will positively benefit over 20,000 people in this town that make under $15 an hour, is the real story here.
There are a few things you need to know about the law. One is that in the same election, Arizona voters also passed a measure to hike the state minimum wage to $12 an hour by 2020.
It's almost like a double effect because the state wage at $12 also includes paid time off. And paid time off is something new to most employers. Some employers have sick time, but the paid time off is mandated as well. And it's for any and every employee, even if you only work 1 hour.
Also, the Flagstaff law mandated that its minimum wage be $2 higher than the state wage, which increased to $10 an hour last summer.
So we were looking at our small businesses having to go from $8.05 an hour with the minimum wage to $12 as a minimum wage within 6 months.
That wasn't actually going to be that big a deal, we thought.
But the city council disagreed. It stepped in last year to tweak the law. The city council removed the mandate that the Flagstaff minimum wage be $2 an hour higher than the state's. They slowed down implementation of the wage increase, but also ultimately raised the final minimum wage from $15 to $15.50 an hour.
I think for the most part, the business community across the board was totally disappointed that the city council would approve an extra 50 cents on top of what the voters legally approved.
Today, Flagstaff's minimum wage stands at $11 an hour. And Paul Moyer, the owner of Proper, says businesses are feeling the impact of those hikes already.
I mean, obviously it has increased our costs of labor in town, and that has also carried over into some of the cost of goods. Our vendor prices, things like that, have gone up as well. So, you know, we've seen an impact. It hasn't been, I don't think it's been quite as big as people were thinking originally. And there was a lot of fear when it first passed that, you know, businesses were going to be going out left and right. That hasn't, I don't think that's come to fruition quite yet.
There's no dispute that prices in this already expensive town are going up. What that means for Flagstaff is very different based on whom you're talking to.
I've been in rooms with businesses that are looking at Flagstaff or thinking about coming here from other communities or other states, and you might as well just throw competitiveness out the window.
Well, I have two responses. One, all you have to do is walk around town and look at the new restaurants and businesses that have opened, all after the minimum wage passed or slightly before it when people assumed it was going to pass. So, and that's consistent with decades of historical data that show that when the minimum wage is raised, there is little to no impact on employment, despite the claims of the chamber and some of the conservative elements of the business community.
It's important to note here that the Flagstaff business community and economy are dominated by small local companies.
Small businesses make up about 80% of our local economy, if not a little higher.
A lot of these small businesses belong to the Chamber of Commerce and strongly oppose the measure. But Bader says many businesses are ardent supporters of the higher minimum wage, and he's not worried about what impact it'll have on any of them.
They all will figure out how to adjust and to make money and make a profit. I mean, this is always a challenge for business in particular, small business, is to figure out how to operate in whatever environment they happen to be in. And if they have to pay a certain wage, then they figure out how to pay a certain wage.
What is clear is that the issue has driven a wedge through the town.
When you have community members and even, people that are on either side of this talking about boycotting local businesses, I mean, that does huge damage to a community like Flagstaff that really is built on this idea of community and this local flavor of the town.
And as Flagstaff tries to move forward, the issue is not over yet. The Chamber of Commerce got its Sustainable Wages Act on this November's ballot. The measure would bring Flagstaff's minimum wage down from $15.50 an hour to just $12.50 an hour. That'd be just 50 cents higher than the state's wage. Mayor Evans says she supports the measure, at least as a stopgap.
I think that would make us more competitive as a city. I would like to see us then work together to really find out what is the appropriate minimum wage for our city. Is it $15.50 an hour? Is it $14 an hour? Is it something in between? I'd like to have more of a comprehensive conversation where you bring business owners and minimum wage workers together, nonprofits and leaders to really have a conversation.
Whatever the minimum wage turns out to be, business owner Paul Moyer is taking a pragmatic approach.
We've largely not taken a stand on it, and we've just tried to figure out internally how we're going to adjust for it and work with the laws that got voted in.